Alright everybody, so we're going to take a look at my fun process, the super scientific process, not so scientific, of bleaching scales. And we're going to do it on the micarta scales of the Civivi Lumi that I have here. So, the reason why I do this, okay, so many knives that do micarta or G10 and the scales just feel super smooth, super slick, like there's just too much resin, and it kind of takes away from the grippier properties of your micarta and your G10. And so I like texture, especially on these smaller knives, these smaller scales. The Civivi Lumi is not a very big knife. It is not a big knife at all. It's an itty bitty one that is great for the fifth pocket. The blade on it weighs like nothing. Super thin, super slicey blade. It's a great knife, great little flipper, perfect for the fifth pocket or ladies' pants that get deprived of having such small pockets on most of their pants. So it's a great knife for that. Just my preference is to have a more grippier texture to it. And I'm going to lighten them up and bleach them enough to where I can add some rit dye colors to it. I'm going to mix these two colors, this frost gray and what is it? Kentucky Sky, whatever the heck that's supposed to be. It's a light blue, and I think that mixing these two together, the goal, granted nothing is perfect in this because it's not super scientific in the way I do this, but the goal, what I'm looking for, is kind of that that steel blue color. So what I've already got in this glass bowl right here is just a little bit of filtered water from the fridge, just a hair, just a touch, and I'm going to add some great value all-purpose cleaning vinegar, and yeah, that's about right. That's the right measurement. And then I'm going to add a little bit of great value bleach. Great Value did not sponsor this video. As much as I love Great Value in Walmart, yeah. So it's just where I could get the products that I needed at the price that I was willing to pay for it. I'm also going to add a little bit of, actually I do this last, the hydrogen peroxide I do last. I mix some rubbing alcohol, 70% rubbing alcohol, again Equate brand, so that's, yeah, Walmart, you betcha. So, yeah, that's about right. Look at that. Those three ingredients are mixing around a little bit, making something happen chemistry-wise. I have no flipping clue. Science is not my strong suit. This is just what I've figured out from my research and asking others. You know, what does a good job in doing this process. So then I add the hydrogen peroxide, which is supposedly supposed to help like loosen up the material a little bit. So that's my mixture. I've got it on this hot plate. It doesn't need to be like boiling hot. You just want it good and hot, and so that's what's happening. And you just need a container that's big enough for the scales. Drop them in there. Get them in there. I have no idea what this is doing to my fingers. No, I do. It's really not doing much. If anything, it's just cleaning all the nasty grime and stuff out of my fingernails and my cuticles and whatnot. Because I don't ever do mani-pedis, like ever. So this is probably good for them. But we're just going to let that sit in that really warm liquid mixture for a good couple hours, 2-3 hours. And then what I do is about once or twice, probably twice, and if the scales really feel like they have a lot of resin coating on the outside of it, to try to break that up to get that grippier texture. to it and loosen that material up to bleach and brighten the color of the scales, I will take a medium bristled wire brush, just a cheap one that I get at Harbor Freight. Yeah, I'm a Harbor Freight shopper if you don't know already. So yeah, just an inexpensive medium duty wire brush, and I'll take them out, rinse them off, scratch them, brush them up real good like I'm brushing my teeth with the wire brush, and then rinse them off and let them soak again for another 30 minutes to an hour. Repeat process as much as I feel necessary for the desired end product that I'm trying to, the end result that I'm trying to achieve here. But this is relatively simple. Do it in a fairly well ventilated area, and don't be sticking your face over the top of it, because this mixture is probably not good to inhale. So yeah, let's stay clear of it for now. Alright, so update. We've got my scales. They've been sitting in that mixture for several hours and then scrubbed a little bit with, like I said, just a medium wire bristled little brush. Oops, bumped my thing. But I want you to notice, let me see if I can hold this up to the camera while it's still on paper towels. At this point in time, it is like crucial for the dyeing process to not let your skin oils get on the scales. But if you can tell, the camera doesn't show it quite as well, but this side, this scale, is lighter than this one. This one's a little bit darker. So in order to try to correct that, and sometimes that just happens, I don't know if it truly is going to make that big a difference in RIT dyeing, other than the fact that I'm choosing some bright RIT dye colors, and this was a fairly dark green colored micarta scales coming from the factory off of the knife. So what I'm going to do is, what I've done is I've changed my mixture a little bit and added with the splash of water and the splash of vinegar and the splash of hydrogen peroxide. I've also I forgot to add the splash of hydrogen to this batch. There we go. So did that. But what I did was I mixed a little bit of this OxyClean powder and a little bit of your borax detergent booster whitening cleaner. So I've made that into this mixture and microwaved it real, for about 15 seconds just to get it good and hot, and then put it back on this warming plate, that you use for candles and wax warmers and stuff. So I'm going to stick this guy in there for about maybe 20-30 minutes, do a little light scrub, and then let it sit in there for another 20 to 30 minutes and see if I can get it to brighten up to the same level that this one is. So that's what I'm going to do. It should do the trick. Again, the chemicals and having the OxyClean and the borax should help kind of just like super clean it and draw just that little bit more color out of it, and bleach it just a little bit better to get it to match the other scale. I want them to match as best I can and to be as light as I can, so that they take on the lighter colors without getting that washy, muddy, dark color that I'm trying to stay away from and keep it from doing. So hopefully it'll all be good, and I'll give you an update in just a little bit. Alrighty, she is all back together now, and yeah, she didn't quite want to pick up that blue and gray mixture that I had made, so I went the other route, and that happens. Micarta or G-10 sometimes just doesn't, when they are originally a fairly dark color, it's really hard, even after bleaching them as white as I got them bleached, for them to pick up lighter colors. It's kind of a hit or miss. It just depends on the material that they used for the micarta and just all the factors involved there. So I ended up saying, hey, well, I've got this nice sandstone color red dye, and I figured, hey, that might look really good with the black blade and black hardware. And sure enough, it does. I like it. It's very earthy and natural, and it'll pick up, you know, skin oils and other oils, knife oils over time, and kind of just patina on its own and create its own colors on those micarta scales. But I mean, the main thing with the whole bleaching process, the purpose of this video was the bleaching process and showing how you can, with a little bit of scrub, loosen up all that outer resin material without damaging the scales. I've never, you know, done this on over more than a dozen knives, Micarta and G-10, and I've not had over the years any damage happen to the scales or have the scales fall apart or bend or snap or crack or anything like that. So far this has been a very safe and simple process. And I haven't died yet, knock on wood, from the chemicals being heated up the way that they do. So, yeah, all things good considering, and the process is, like I said, fairly easy and somewhat fun, maybe, for some of us. But it really loosens up that outer layer of resin and gives a much better texture, especially micarta. Those of us who are die-hard micarta fans, we love the texture that you get with the micarta, the grippiness, the texturiness. I'll shut up for a second and y'all can hopefully hear this. Right? Y'all hear that? Yeah. So, nice. If you didn't, I'm sorry. You should turn up your hearing aids a little bit more. Just kidding. But, yeah. Love the texturiness, the grippiness. And this thing will end up looking really cool as it patinas and picks up, you know, skin oils and other oils, knife oils, all that jazz. But, yeah. Great little knife. I'm happy with how it came out. Again, mainly just wanting that grippy texture from the micarta, and this is a nice natural look for the color of the scales. So that's it for now. If you're wondering about some of the other items here, I know it's not, they're not Weehaw bits, and Weehaw is one of the best, and everybody loves the Weehaw bits, and I kind of probably should look at getting a different style ratchet tool. The head on this guy does spin freely, but there's not really, it's so slick, it's cut there, it's made for some amount of grip, but it's really not a lot. Most of the time when I'm trying to get that last little bit of tightening, I'll put a cloth in my hand to help get some better grip on this guy. But the bit set, picked it up at Lowe's, Home Depot. I don't know. I don't really care. But but yeah. So this ain't too bad of a kit for being as dirt cheap as it was. I think it was like 10, 11 bucks, somewhere around there. But gives me all those bits, and I've been pretty happy. Other than, you know, extra grip on this not happening. The bits have not twisted, torn up, broken, snapped, or anything, and it's been disassembling and assembling knives and other things for quite a number of months now. The other cool thing that this is fairly new for me, is this little the small parts tray, the silicone molded parts tray from Harbor Freight in this bright blue. So I like it so far. I've got some other silicone mats and stuff, but I like how this has tall separations, tall dividers, and of course little holes for putting all the bits in. And so I've been happy with him, and on sale at the time it was like 15, 16 bucks, when I picked them up, and yeah, good piece of gear, and been happy with it. So that's it. Y'all hit the like, subscribe, check out my other videos, check out my other stuff. I got more to come. I got at least 2 more videos I'm working on for the month of December. Would love to get over 500 subscribers by the end of the month, by Christmas, if possible. That would be awesome. I'd really appreciate that, and really appreciate some feedback in the comments. So drop your comments, give me your opinions. If you got another method that you use that you swear by is the most fantastic way, detailed in the comments, leave that info. We all can use little advice, tips, and tricks. So that was the purpose of this video, was tips and tricks on how to get this texture, and by bleaching the scales. So yeah, let's keep it rocking and rolling in the knife community, guys. And peace out. I'm out of here.